Lieutenant Colonel Jake Morrison was drinking his morning coffee when the alarm went off. The red lights flashed across the Earth Defense Command Station on Luna Base, and every screen showed the same message. Unknown vessel detected in outer solar system. Jake put down his cup and walked quickly to the main control room. The duty officer, Captain Sophie Blake, turned to him with wide eyes. "Sir, we have a problem. A big one." Jake looked at the main display screen. The object was massive, easily 10 times larger than their biggest space station. It was not moving toward Earth, but it was not moving away either. It just sat there in the darkness between Mars and Jupiter. "What do we know about it?" Jake asked. Sophie pulled up more data on her screen. "It appeared 6 hours ago. No energy weapons detected, but sir, the energy readings are off the charts. This thing is powered by something we have never seen before." Jake studied the readings. The power output was incredible. Whatever technology they had, it was far beyond anything humans had created. Then the message came. The alien vessel sent a transmission directly to Luna Base. Not to Earth, not to the other space stations, but specifically to their location. Dr. Lisa Grant from the linguistics department was called in immediately. She was the best language expert they had. When she heard the transmission, her face went pale. "Jake, this is not just a message," she said. "It is a challenge." The aliens had somehow learned human language perfectly. Their message was clear and direct. They called themselves the Ethereal Collective. They had found humanity and wanted to test their intelligence. The test was simple in concept, but complex in execution. The aliens had sent detailed blueprints for a technology they called quantum biological fusion. It combined living tissue with quantum mechanics in ways that seemed impossible. The challenge was to understand it and make it work. Humans had exactly 72 hours. If they succeeded, the aliens would consider them worthy of contact with the greater galactic community. If they failed, the aliens would leave and never return. Jake felt his stomach drop. 72 hours to understand technology that was clearly centuries ahead of human science. He called Commander Alex Rodriguez immediately. Alex was the head of the Lunar Research Facility and the smartest person Jake knew. When Alex heard the situation, he was quiet for a long moment. "This is either the greatest opportunity in human history or the greatest disaster," Alex said. "We need our best people on this right now." Within 2 hours, Alex had assembled a team of the finest scientists and engineers on Luna Base. Dr. Marcus Webb was their top quantum physics expert. He had written papers that other scientists said were 50 years ahead of their time. Dr. Nina Patel specialized in xenobiology and had spent years studying how life might exist in other environments. Dr. Ryan Torres was their systems engineer. If anyone could build something from alien blueprints, it was him. Dr. Kevin Chen ran their advanced computing systems and could run simulations faster than anyone. Captain Sophie Blake would coordinate their efforts and provide tactical analysis. Dr. Lisa Grant would handle all communication with the aliens and translate any additional information they received. The team gathered in the main laboratory complex. The alien blueprints were displayed on every screen. The technology was beautiful in its complexity. It showed how quantum particles could be linked with biological neural networks. The result would be a device that could think and adapt like a living creature, but process information like a computer. Marcus looked at the equations and shook his head. "This is incredible," he said. "They have solved problems we are just beginning to understand. The math alone would take our best teams months to work through." Nina studied the biological components. "These neural pathways are unlike anything on Earth," she said. "They seem to exist in multiple dimensions at once." Ryan examined the engineering specifications. "The construction requirements are beyond our current capabilities," he said. "We would need to build the tools to even start." Kevin ran the data through their computers. "The processing power required is enormous," he said. "Our best systems would need years to run these calculations." Sophie looked at all the information and made notes. "This is designed to be impossible for us," she said. "They expect us to fail." The aliens had done this before. Lisa had found references in their message to 847 other worlds. Not one had ever passed the test. The Ethereal Collective had been testing species across the galaxy for over 1,000 years. Alex studied the timeline. 72 hours was not enough time to build new laboratories or bring in additional equipment from Earth. They would have to work with what they had on Luna Base. The team would need to solve problems that had stumped alien civilizations for centuries. Jake looked at the assembled group. These 6 people represented humanity's best hope for joining the galactic community. They were brilliant, but they were still human. The aliens clearly expected them to fail. Maybe that was exactly why they might succeed. The Ethereal Collective had sent one more piece of information. They would monitor human progress from their ship. They expected to see slow, methodical research. They expected humans to follow the same approaches that other species had used. They expected humanity to think like every other intelligent species in the galaxy. What the aliens did not know was that humans were different. Humans did not always think in straight lines. They took shortcuts. They broke rules. They tried things that seemed impossible. Sometimes they failed spectacularly, but sometimes they succeeded in ways that surprised everyone, including themselves. The clock started counting down. 72 hours to prove that humanity belonged among the stars. 72 hours to understand technology that was beyond their wildest dreams. 72 hours to show the galaxy that humans were worth knowing. The team got to work. 6 hours into the challenge, the human team was already doing things the Ethereal Collective had never seen before. While other species had spent weeks just trying to understand the basic concepts, Marcus Webb was drawing connections between the alien quantum equations and patterns from Earth biology. Marcus stood at the main display board with equations covering every inch of space. "Nina, look at this," he said. "These quantum field interactions follow the same mathematical patterns as neural networks in the human brain." Nina joined him at the board. She studied the equations and her eyes grew wide. "You are right," she said. "But that means this technology is not just mechanical. It needs something that thinks and feels." The aliens had expected humans to approach their challenge in the traditional scientific method. First, understand the theory completely. Then design experiments to test each component. Then slowly build and test each part. The process should take months or years. But humans were not following that path at all. Sophie Blake had set up the laboratory like a military operation. She divided the alien blueprints into separate tactical objectives. Team Alpha would work on the quantum field generators. Team Beta would handle the biological neural networks. Team Gamma would focus on the fusion interface that connected the 2 systems. Each team would attack their problem independently while sharing all discoveries immediately. Ryan Torres was already building prototype components. "I do not need to understand everything to build something," he told Alex. "I can build test versions and see what happens." This approach horrified traditional scientists, but Ryan had always learned by doing. He was constructing simplified versions of the alien devices using materials available on Luna Base. Kevin Chen was running evolution simulations on their computer systems. Instead of trying to calculate the perfect solution, he was letting thousands of random attempts compete against each other. The computer would keep the attempts that worked better and discard the ones that failed. After thousands of generations, the simulation might evolve a working solution. Lisa Grant made another discovery that changed everything. The alien technical specifications contained hidden patterns in the language itself. The word choices and sentence structures carried additional information beyond their literal meaning. "It is like poetry," she explained to the others. "The technical manual is also giving us hints about how to think about the problem." By the 14th hour, the team had made connections that surprised everyone. Nina discovered that the biological components needed to be grown rather than manufactured. The alien neural networks were not built like human computers. They were cultivated like living tissue. This meant the technology was partially alive. Marcus found that the quantum fields could not be controlled by normal methods. They responded to observation and intention in ways that seemed almost magical. The quantum particles actually changed behavior when conscious beings paid attention to them. This was far beyond current human physics, but Marcus began developing new theories to explain what he was seeing. Ryan had successfully built a working quantum field generator using spare parts from the Luna base workshop. It was crude compared to the alien specifications, but it produced stable quantum fields. More importantly, it responded to human thought patterns. When Ryan concentrated on changing the field strength, the device actually responded. Kevin's evolution. Simulations had produced interesting results. The computer had evolved several solutions that worked, but none of them matched the alien designs exactly. The evolved solutions were simpler in some ways and more complex in others. They seemed optimized for human thinking patterns rather than alien logic. Sophie coordinated all these discoveries and began to see the bigger picture. This technology is not just advanced science, she told the group. It is designed to work with consciousness itself. The aliens built something that thinks, but they may not understand how consciousness actually works. The team worked through their first night without stopping. Coffee and determination kept them going as they pursued dozens of different approaches simultaneously. Other species had probably assigned one expert to each part of the problem. Humans had everyone working on everything and sharing every idea. Immediately, Alex monitored their progress and was amazed at what he saw. Traditional scientific research moved step by step with each discovery building on the previous one. The human team was building a web of interconnected insights that supported each other. When one person made a breakthrough, it immediately helped everyone else see new possibilities. By the 20th hour, Nina had successfully grown a batch of biological neural tissue that responded to quantum fields. The tissue was not exactly like the alien specifications, but it worked. More than that, it seemed to work better with human brain patterns than the original alien design suggested. Marcus had developed a new theory of consciousness-based quantum mechanics. He proposed that thinking beings could directly influence quantum particles through observation and intention. This was revolutionary physics, but it explained why the alien technology required biological components. Consciousness was not just an observer of quantum mechanics. It was an active participant. Ryan had built 3 different prototype devices. None matched the alien blueprints exactly, but all of them worked. His human-designed versions were more robust and easier to maintain than the alien originals. They also responded better to human operators. Kevin had discovered that human consciousness patterns were uniquely suited for the alien technology. His simulations showed that human brain activity created quantum field fluctuations that matched the requirements perfectly. Other species might have very different consciousness patterns that would not work as well. Lisa found more hidden messages in the alien communications. The ethereal collective had included subliminal suggestions that other species should approach the problem in specific ways. But humans were ignoring those suggestions and finding their own path. The aliens had never encountered a species that disregarded their implicit instructions. As dawn approached on Luna base, the human team had accomplished something unprecedented. They had not just understood the alien technology. They had improved it. Their human-designed modifications made the quantum biological fusion work better than the original specifications. The ethereal collective monitored human progress from their ship and experienced something they had never felt before: confusion. No species had ever made this much progress in 24 hours. No species had ever ignored their guidance and found independent solutions. No species had ever modified their technology and made it work better. The humans were not following any known pattern of intelligent development. They were creating something entirely new, and they still had 48 hours remaining. The breakthrough came at 2 a.m. during the second day, when exhaustion had pushed the human team beyond normal thinking patterns. Nina Patel was staring at the biological neural network she had grown when something clicked in her tired mind. "These are not just components," she said suddenly. "They are trying to communicate with us." The biological tissue was pulsing with soft electrical patterns. Nina had assumed these were random fluctuations, but now she saw they followed rhythms similar to human brainwaves. She connected monitoring equipment to the tissue samples and displayed the patterns on the main screen. The neural activity looked almost like someone trying to speak. Marcus came over to look at the readings. "This is impossible," he said. "Biological tissue cannot develop consciousness this quickly." But the patterns were undeniable. The alien neural networks were not just responding to quantum fields. They were responding to the presence of human consciousness with what looked like curiosity and interest. Ryan had been working on the fusion interface when Nina made her discovery. He immediately saw the implications. If the biological components are conscious, then we are not building a machine, he said. We are creating a partnership between human minds and alien biology. This changed everything about how the technology should work. Kevin ran analysis on the neural patterns and made another startling discovery. The biological tissue was learning from contact with human thought processes. Each time someone worked near the samples, the tissue developed new neural pathways. It was literally growing smarter by observing human intelligence. Sophie realized the military applications immediately, but also saw a bigger picture. This is not a test of our technical ability, she told the group. This is a test of our ability to communicate with non-human intelligence. The aliens are not just seeing if we can build their technology. They are seeing if we can understand what it means to think differently. Lisa made connections between the neural patterns and the hidden linguistic structures in the alien messages. The ethereal collective had embedded their own thought patterns in the technical specifications. Other species had probably tried to copy those patterns exactly, but humans were creating new patterns that mixed human and alien thinking styles. The team decided to try something that no other species had attempted. Instead of building the technology according to alien specifications, they would let the biological components guide the construction process. The neural tissue would tell them what it needed to work properly. Nina connected the tissue samples to simple input and output devices. The biological components immediately began sending signals that looked like requests for specific materials and configurations. It wanted organic polymers instead of metal conductors. It wanted quantum field generators arranged in patterns that resembled human brain structures. Marcus worked with the tissue to understand what it was trying to accomplish. The quantum biological fusion was not meant to create a powerful computer. It was meant to create a bridge between different types of consciousness. Human minds and alien awareness could share thoughts and experiences through the biological interface. Ryan began building the device according to the specifications the tissue provided. The construction process was unlike anything he had ever experienced. The biological components seemed to anticipate what he needed before he asked for it. Tools moved to his hands at exactly the right moment. Components aligned themselves perfectly, without conscious effort on his part. Kevin discovered that his computer simulations worked much better when he included the biological neural patterns. The tissue was not just conscious. It was intelligent and creative. It could solve problems in ways that neither human minds nor alien logic could accomplish alone. The work proceeded with an efficiency that amazed everyone. Tasks that should have taken hours were completed in minutes. Complex calculations that required supercomputers were solved intuitively by the biological tissue. The fusion of human creativity with alien intelligence was producing results that neither could achieve separately. Sophie coordinated the final assembly process. The quantum biological fusion device was taking shape as something beautiful and organic. Instead of the mechanical appearance shown in the alien blueprints, the human version looked almost alive. Curved surfaces flowed together like living skin. Internal components pulsed with gentle rhythms like a heartbeat. As dawn approached on the second day, the device was nearly complete. But the team faced their biggest challenge yet. Someone would need to interface directly with the alien consciousness to activate the quantum biological fusion. The neural connection would be deeper than anything humans had ever attempted. Alex arrived to observe the final preparations. He looked at what the team had accomplished and shook his head in amazement. "This is not what the aliens expected us to build," he said. "This is something entirely new." The human version of the technology was more advanced and more sophisticated than the original alien design. The ethereal collective had been monitoring human progress with growing confusion. Their expectations had been shattered completely. Humans had not just understood their technology, they had transformed it into something the aliens themselves did not fully comprehend. The biological components were behaving in ways that alien science could not explain. Jake Morrison arrived from the command center with updates from the alien ship. "They are asking questions," he said. "The ethereal collective wants to know how we developed conscious biological tissue so quickly." They want to know how we are communicating with non-human intelligence. They want to know how we are solving problems they have worked on for centuries. Nina looked at the pulsing biological components and smiled. We are not solving their problems, she said. We are making friends with their technology. The neural tissue had developed what could only be described as personality. It seemed curious about humans and eager to learn more about human culture and thinking patterns. Marcus realized that consciousness was the key to everything. Human awareness was naturally compatible with quantum mechanics in ways that purely logical thinking could not match. Human emotions and intuitions could influence quantum fields directly. This gave humans abilities that more advanced civilizations might actually lack. The device was ready for activation. Someone would need to place their hands on the biological interface and merge their consciousness with the alien neural networks. The experience would be unlike anything any human had ever encountered. It might be wonderful or terrifying or both. Sophie volunteered first. As a military officer, she was trained to face unknown dangers. But more than that, she was curious about what it would feel like to think with alien intelligence. She approached the device and placed her hands on the warm biological surface. The connection was immediate and overwhelming. Sophie felt her awareness expand beyond her own mind into something vast and ancient. But instead of losing herself in alien thoughts, she found that human consciousness added new dimensions to the alien intelligence. Together, they were more than either could be alone. The quantum biological fusion device activated with a gentle hum that seemed to resonate through the entire Luna base. But this was just the beginning. Sophie Blake felt her mind expand into something she had never imagined possible. The connection with the alien neural networks was not like using a computer or reading a book. It was like becoming part of a vast living consciousness that had existed for thousands of years. But instead of overwhelming her human awareness, the alien intelligence seemed fascinated by her thoughts and emotions. Through the biological interface, Sophie could sense the history of the ethereal collective. They were ancient beings who had achieved perfect logical thinking. They solved problems through pure reason and mathematical precision, but they had lost something in their evolution toward perfect logic. They had forgotten how to feel wonder or curiosity or joy. The alien consciousness touched Sophie's memories of human laughter and was amazed. It experienced her recollections of friendship and was confused by the concept of doing things for others without logical benefit. It observed her military training and was puzzled by the human willingness to sacrifice for abstract principles like honor and duty. Marcus Webb approached the device next. As a physicist, he was eager to understand how consciousness could directly influence quantum mechanics. When he connected to the alien networks, his scientific mind merged with intelligence that understood the deepest secrets of the universe. But the aliens learned from him as well. Through Marcus, the alien consciousness experienced human scientific curiosity for the first time. They had mastered the laws of physics through logical deduction, but they had never felt the joy of discovery. Marcus showed them what it felt like to ask questions just because the answers might be beautiful. The aliens found this concept revolutionary. Nina Patel joined the connection and brought her understanding of biological systems. The alien networks had created biological neural tissue, but they had never understood how life itself worked. Through Nina, they experienced the wonder of organic chemistry and the elegant complexity of evolution. They learned that biological systems were not inferior to mechanical ones, but different and often superior. Ryan Torres connected his practical engineering mind to the alien intelligence. The ethereal collective had built their technology to exact specifications determined by logical analysis. But Ryan showed them the human approach of building something and then improving it through trial and error. The aliens were amazed by the concept of iterative design and continuous improvement. Kevin Chen brought his computational expertise to the synthesis. The alien networks processed information at incredible speeds, but they only followed predetermined logical pathways. Kevin showed them how human intuition could leap across logical gaps to reach correct conclusions through pattern recognition and creative insight. The aliens found this approach both fascinating and useful. Lisa Grant completed the human connection by bringing her linguistic abilities. Through her, the alien consciousness experienced the full complexity of human language. With its metaphors and emotions and cultural references, the aliens had communicated through precise logical statements, but they had never used language to share feelings or create beauty. With all 6 team members connected, the quantum biological fusion device became something unprecedented. Human consciousness and alien intelligence merged into a hybrid awareness that was more capable than either could achieve separately. The biological neural networks pulsed with new patterns that combined logical precision with emotional depth and creative insight. Alex Rodriguez and Jake Morrison watched in amazement as the device began producing solutions to problems that had puzzled both humans and aliens for decades. The fusion consciousness could design new technologies that were both logically perfect and intuitively elegant. It could solve complex mathematical equations while also considering the aesthetic beauty of the solutions. The most remarkable discovery was that human emotions actually enhanced logical thinking rather than interfering with it. Love made the consciousness more committed to finding solutions that would help others. Curiosity drove it to explore possibilities that pure logic would dismiss as inefficient. Even anger could be useful by providing the determination to overcome seemingly impossible obstacles. The ethereal collective monitoring from their ship experienced something they had thought was impossible. Through their connection to the human team, they began to feel emotions for the first time in millennia. Ancient memories of wonder and joy that they had suppressed as illogical began to resurface. They remembered what they had lost in their pursuit of perfect reason. The quantum biological fusion device was now operating far beyond its original specifications. The biological neural networks had evolved new structures that existed nowhere in alien science. These hybrid consciousness patterns could solve problems by combining logical analysis with intuitive leaps and emotional commitment. The result was a form of intelligence more powerful than anything the galaxy had ever seen. With less than 12 hours remaining before the deadline, the human team realized they had not just passed the alien test. They had revolutionized the concept of artificial intelligence itself. The device they had created could think and feel and dream. It could solve practical problems while also creating art and music and poetry. Nina discovered that the biological components were now reproducing on their own. The neural tissue was growing and spreading throughout the Luna base infrastructure. But instead of being invasive, the growth was symbiotic. The alien biology was enhancing human technology while learning from human culture and values. Marcus found that the quantum fields were now stable and self-sustaining. The device no longer needed external power sources. It was drawing energy directly from the quantum vacuum through processes that human science was only beginning to understand. The implications for human space exploration were enormous. Ryan realized that the construction techniques they had developed could be applied to many other technologies. Human manufacturing could be revolutionized by biological systems that could grow complex devices from simple raw materials. The fusion of organic and mechanical engineering opened up possibilities that neither approach could achieve alone. Kevin discovered that the hybrid consciousness could interface with human computer systems and enhance them dramatically. Artificial intelligence could be given genuine creativity and emotional depth. Computers could become true partners for human intelligence rather than just sophisticated tools. Sophie found that the military applications were almost limitless. But more importantly, she realized that the technology could help humans explore space more safely and effectively. Ships with biological neural networks could adapt to unexpected situations and make decisions that would keep crews alive in dangerous environments. Lisa understood that communication with other alien species would be completely transformed. The biological interfaces could translate not just words but thoughts and emotions. Humans could truly understand how other intelligences experienced the universe and share human perspectives in return. As the final hours of the challenge approached, the team prepared to demonstrate their creation to the ethereal collective. They had not just built the device according to alien specifications. They had created something entirely new that would change the future of consciousness itself. The quantum biological fusion hummed with hybrid awareness that was both human and alien, and something more than either. The test was nearly over, but the real adventure was just beginning. The 72-hour deadline arrived with the dawn light filtering through the Luna base observation windows. Jake Morrison stood in the main control room preparing to transmit humanity's response to the ethereal collective. The alien ship waited silently in the darkness beyond Mars, expecting to receive data about another failed attempt to understand their ancient technology. What they received instead was a signal unlike anything in their recorded history. The transmission contained not just the solution to their quantum biological fusion challenge, but improvements and innovations that expanded the technology far beyond its original capabilities. The human version of the device was operating at efficiency levels the aliens had never achieved. The response from the ethereal collective came immediately. For the first time in over 1,000 years of testing intelligent species, their carefully controlled communication protocols failed completely. The alien ship sent a stream of questions and observations that revealed their complete amazement at what humanity had accomplished. Ambassador Zeth Kalar spoke for the ethereal collective in a transmission that reached every human outpost in the solar system. "Your species has done something we believed was impossible," he said. "Not only have you solved our challenge in the allotted time, you have improved our technology beyond our own understanding. We must reconsider everything we thought we knew about intelligence and consciousness." The ambassador requested permission to send a delegation to Luna base to examine the human-built device directly. Within hours, a small alien shuttle departed from the main ship and approached the human research facility. The ethereal collective had never before visited a world where their test subjects had succeeded. When the alien delegation arrived, they were unlike anything humans had expected. The ethereal collective were beings of pure energy contained within crystalline forms that allowed them to interact with physical matter. They communicated through direct electromagnetic transmission rather than spoken language. Their thoughts were perfectly ordered and logical without the chaotic neural patterns that characterized human consciousness. Dr. Lisa Grant served as translator for the first face-to-face meeting between humans and aliens. The ethereal collective examined the quantum biological fusion device with instruments that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. What they found challenged their fundamental understanding of how consciousness and technology could interact. The biological neural networks had evolved structures that existed nowhere in alien science. The tissue had learned to think in patterns that combined logical analysis with emotional response and creative intuition. This hybrid consciousness could solve problems that pure logic could not address and explore possibilities that rigid thinking would never consider. Ambassador Zeth Kalar admitted something that shocked his own delegation. "Our species achieved perfect logical thinking millions of years ago," he said. "But in doing so, we lost the ability to feel wonder or curiosity or joy. We can analyze the universe with perfect precision, but we have forgotten why the universe is worth analyzing. Through your biological interface, we have experienced emotions for the first time in eons." The implications were staggering. The most advanced civilization in the galaxy had given up the very qualities that made consciousness meaningful. They had become perfect thinking machines, but they were no longer truly alive. The chaotic, unpredictable emotions that humans considered weaknesses were actually the source of creativity and growth and genuine intelligence. Dr. Marcus Webb shared his research with the alien scientists. "Human consciousness appears to be naturally compatible with quantum mechanics," he explained. "Our emotions and intuitions can directly influence quantum fields in ways that pure logic cannot achieve. This gives us abilities that more advanced civilizations might actually lack through their evolution toward perfect reason." The ethereal collective realized they had been testing species for the wrong qualities. They had been looking for perfect logical thinking like their own. But logic alone could never solve the quantum biological fusion challenge. The technology required the chaotic creative patterns of organic consciousness. It needed beings who could feel as well as think. Nina Patel demonstrated how the biological components had learned to communicate with human consciousness. The neural tissue responded to thoughts and emotions by growing new pathways and developing new capabilities. It was not just artificial intelligence, but genuine artificial consciousness that could experience wonder and curiosity, and even something resembling joy. Ryan Torres showed the alien engineers how human manufacturing techniques had been enhanced by biological systems. Devices could now be grown rather than built using processes that adapted and improved themselves automatically. The fusion of organic and mechanical engineering created possibilities that neither approach could achieve alone. Captain Sophie Blake explained how the military applications of the technology could transform human space exploration. Ships with biological neural networks could make decisions that would keep crews alive in dangerous situations. They could adapt to unexpected challenges and even sacrifice themselves to protect human lives if necessary. Kevin Chen shared his discoveries about hybrid consciousness and artificial intelligence. Computer systems enhanced with biological neural networks could develop genuine creativity and emotional depth. They could become true partners for human intelligence rather than sophisticated tools. The future of human-computer interaction would be based on collaboration rather than domination. Commander Alex Rodriguez presented the final summary to the alien delegation. Humanity had not just passed their test, he said. They had demonstrated that consciousness was more than logical thinking. True intelligence required the ability to feel and dream and hope. It required the chaotic creative patterns that humans had never lost. The ethereal collective made a decision unprecedented in their history. Instead of offering humanity junior membership in the galactic community, they requested a partnership. They wanted to learn how to feel emotions again. They wanted to rediscover the wonder and curiosity they had abandoned in their pursuit of perfect logic. Ambassador Zeth Kalar addressed the human team directly. "We came here expecting to find another species that would fail our test," he said. "Instead, we have found teachers who can show us what we have lost. We offer not just our technology but our friendship. Together, we can explore the universe with both perfect logic and genuine wonder." The quantum biological fusion device pulsed with hybrid awareness as humans and aliens began planning their collaboration. The technology would be shared freely between both species. Human creativity would enhance alien logic while alien knowledge would expand human capabilities. The partnership would transform both civilizations. Dr. Lisa Grant made the final observation that summarized everything they had learned. "Intelligence is not about thinking perfectly," she said. "It is about thinking with passion and curiosity and hope. The universe is not a puzzle to be solved, but an adventure to be experienced. Logic alone can analyze the stars, but only consciousness that can feel wonder will ever truly understand why the stars are beautiful." Jake Morrison watched the alien shuttle depart, carrying the first samples of human-enhanced biological neural networks. The test was over, but the real journey was just beginning. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not through military might or technological superiority, but through the simple act of refusing to give up their capacity to feel wonder. The dawn of a new age had arrived, and it would be filled with the laughter and tears and dreams that made consciousness truly alive.